her business is Christina Peters from First Tennessee Development
Christina,
District.
you want to sit right there. I met Christina at First Tennessee Development District, and she came to see me, it's been a while back, concerning the program called Caring Workplaces. Lots of workplaces in Hawkins County have already joined in this. A couple of government agencies also have, but I'll let her say more about it. You know, I think it's something that we need to consider for Hawkins County, but I'll let Christina do the hard work.
Well, thank you, Mayor DeWitt, and thank you to the Personnel Committee. My name is Christina Peters, and as Mayor said, I work for the First Tennessee Development District. 22 years prior to me working for the Development District, I was the director of a corrections program. So I ran probation agencies in about 4 or 5 counties in Northeast Tennessee. One of the things that I realized in those 20 years is you see a lot of repeat customers, if you will, coming through the judicial system that gets incarcerated, gets put on probation. And one of the things that I also recognized was that when an individual gets out of jail, usually if they have a job to go to, the recidivism drastically decreases. So about, I guess it was in 2020, it was the end of 2021, my boss, Lottie Ryans, with a group of community leaders from various organizations got together and they started talking about the opioid epidemic in Northeast Tennessee and how that affected the workforce. So they were able to apply for a U.S. Department of Labor grant. They got that grant, and out of that was born the Caring Workplaces. So I took a leap of faith, left a 22-year career to start a new program. And I'm very grateful that I did that. It's been very successful so far, and I feel like we're really helping some individuals this go around. Wasn't always sure about it in my past life career, but so what the Caring Workplaces does is basically we kind of do 2 different things. The first thing is employers. We focus on engagement and recruitment of employers that want to learn how to become recovery friendly. And all of our services, all of our resources are free. An employer pays nothing for this. So basically what we do is we go out and we have an individual that speaks to employers throughout the 8 counties of Northeast Tennessee. Anybody that's interested in learning about how to become recovery friendly. And when I say recovery friendly, that also includes mental health issues. A lot of people that suffer from substance use disorder also suffer from a mental health issue as well. So we try to cover both of them. But what we do is we offer them an opportunity to become a certified caring workplace. And what that basically looks like, we've made it as simple as possible. We know that employers don't have a lot of excess time to spend on a lot of things. So in order to become a caring workplace, what we do is we get a copy of the employer's drug and alcohol policy. We partner with ETSU Addiction Science Center and Dr. Angela Hagelin. She and her team, they review that policy. They make recommendations and then they give it back to the employer. the employer does not have to adopt or change any of their policy, but most of them do because the recommendations are usually pretty good. The second thing is we do a leadership training. So we ask the company to identify who their leaders are, who the management is, supervisors. And we come in and we do a 90-minute supervisors training. That training, what it does is it teaches the supervisors how to identify drug usage in the workplace, and more importantly, how to have those difficult conversations, and how to approach employees, and then how to help them once they do initiate a conversation. So that's the second thing they do to be certified. And then the last thing is we just ask that about 3 out of 10 of their employee base goes through a training of some sort. And we leave that up to the company. We have an online training platform where anyone can access 365 days. So they could go on and get their training that way. Or if an employer says, no, I want you to come in and in person do a training, we do that. We offer trainings like stigma in the workplace, mental health in the workplace, Narcan. I'm sure you all are familiar with Narcan, the overdose drug reversal. We offer that training. We offer basically anything that you all come to us and say, we would like to have a training, as long as it's in the purview of what we do as far as substance use and mental health, we can offer those trainings. And then a company is certified. They have a year to go through that certification. It's really, most people do it within the first 6 months. And the other part of what we do is we know a lot of employers were suffering from labor shortages. So we partner, another partner with us is Ballot Health. And Ballot Health has a program called Peer Help. Are you all familiar with certified peer recovery specialist? Has anybody heard that? Okay, so a CPRS, we call them navigators. It's easier to say. So navigators are people with lived addiction experience that have successfully navigated recovery. They've gone through hours and hours. There's a certain amount of hours per state that they have to go through, and then they get certified. And basically what these individuals do is they navigate other individuals, especially those coming out of jail. They go into the jail's 90 days pre-release and start working with individuals to help remove barriers for them, so that on the day that they're released, hopefully they've got everything that's individualized to them that they need to be successful in recovery. One of those things is a job, as I spoke about earlier. We don't want any moss to grow under their feet. We want them in a job as soon as possible. And the other partner, the last partner that we work with is our State Department of Labor, the American Job Centers. So what we do basically is our navigators, when they sign on individuals, they sign them on Jobs 14, which is the state, I like to call it the state's Indeed. It's jobs14.com, the employment website for the state. And then our employers also register as employers, and that's where they post their open jobs. That's not the only place they have to post them, but then once an individual is ready to go to work, our navigators, they go to our American Job Center team and say, match John Doe with a job at Right Screen or Crimbo or one of our employers. And that's how the process gets started. So really what we do is we offer an employer another pipeline. Some employers don't want to give second chance employment. Maybe they have safety sensitive jobs and they're not able to do that. But for whatever reason, most of them do. Most of them want employees, so they're willing to hire from our pipeline. And our individuals, what makes them different is that navigator will stay with them for up to a year once they're employed. We have been very, very successful with that accountability and that extra support that's built in. And some examples, right now we have 53 employers. By the end of our grant, we're scheduled to have 70. We're shooting for 100, and we feel like we can easily get that. Our grant said that we had to put 90 individuals to employment. We've put 195 individuals to employment. Our retention, employers look at retention rates. Our retention rates are really, really good. I know that, we speak to manufacturers committees and chambers and the workforce boards. And what we hear from employers is we're finding that if you give these individuals a second chance, they're going to be the most loyal because they're not having to work a job for minimum wage. A lot of our individuals are starting out at between $15 and $20 an hour. And our retention numbers are really good. To date, we've had over 27 individuals that have reached the 1 year retention mark. So I can go on and on, but I know you all have other business to do. We have one other county, Bluff City, is a caring workplace. So again, one of the things that's important to know is if Hawkins County considers becoming a caring workplace, you have access to our pipeline. However, you don't have to hire from that pipeline if you're not interested. The other thing that's important to know is what we do is we work with an employer's existing personnel and their existing workforce. So what we do is if you all as a personnel committee for Hawkins County are dealing with personnel issues and you have individuals that you already staff that either they themselves or even a family member are struggling with addiction and with mental health issues, you can pick up the phone and call us and we will send out one of our navigators. They will meet with that individual, they will talk with them, and they will resource them into whatever services or resources they need. And we do all that for free. So it's really like an EPA kind of policy. So that's really everything that we do. If there's any questions, I'm ready to answer.
So if you join as a county, does that encompass all your elected official offices and everything?
Yes. Yes.
Is there a financial incentive for hiring people through your program?
There is. Thank you for asking that. So there's something through the Department of Labor called the federal bonding and the work opportunity tax credit. Both of those are through the government. They're free to an employer. The federal bonding is basically, it bonds an individual. Both of these programs look at, the best way to say it is dislocated or marginalized populations of workers. So if you hire somebody from our pipeline, they meet that criteria. The work opportunity tax credit gives an employer a tax incentive or a tax break for hiring, and the federal bonding is to protect an employer. I can't remember offhand. I think it's, I don't want to tell you and be wrong, but it's thousands of dollars. They bond you for free up to like 6 months for that individual, and that covers you in case of theft or property loss of some sort. Once an employer signs on, we send them all of that information. So, thank you.
So do we have several businesses in Hawkins County? I know a couple of them, but we have several that are signed up with this.
I know that, and I apologize, I didn't know what this meeting entailed, so just in case I brought like a PowerPoint slide, and it has that, all of our employer information. I know that we're in the Hawkins County Jail. We work with the Hawkins County Recovery Court as well. We work with Express Professionals. We work with MIS. We work with, is Titan Packaging?
No.
Cold Star.
What?
Cold Star?
No,
I'm trying to think
Cooper
of what
Standard, is Cooper Standard.
Cooper
Standard,
Standard.
yes.
Yes, Cooper Standard.
every time they have someone in the county sign on, they send me the information and I send them a letter, of support from the county government. So I've signed several of those, but I can't recall who it all went to.
Yes, thank you. Cooper Standard is who I was thinking of. Yes.
Has any of the counties partnered with during workplaces right now?
Yes, Bluff City.
Bluff City.
Bluff City has.
Bluff City is actually a city, it's not a county, but it's still government.
Yes, it's a municipality. We also are in talks with Sullivan County, Kingsport City, Sullivan County, and Johnson City. I guess because they're bigger municipalities, bigger governments, there's a lot of, they have to jump through some hoops to, but we're in process with them.
Great.
Okay, does anybody else got any more questions?
I think the interesting thing is there's a lot of programs involved rolled into one. We don't have to take advantage of all of it. But, if we've got our folks looking for folks who are struggling with drug use or something else, this is a great program. And I see that probably as the main point of this, although, I don't know anybody that's struggling right now, but if we've got it in place, then we've got something to turn to.
Now, the thing that I like about it is that existing employees, if there's an issue, then instead of the instant firing them,
Right.
they have an opportunity to get some help.
Yes.
So I think that's the biggest.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. And that is something we've worked with 3 other employers that have called us, and for confidentiality reasons, I won't say who those are, but they've called us and they said, we had somebody who failed a drug screen. They're a good employee. We do not want to terminate them. Can you help us? We send in our navigator. Our navigator works with that individual to figure out what their individualized needs are. And then they work with the HR department and say, if you are in agreement with this, we can tell you as much or as little as you need to know about the compliance of this plan that we've worked. A lot of the plans are like anywhere between 8 and 10 weeks for that employee, and they help them get signed up and, if it's mental health counseling, if it's recovery classes, whatever that individual needs. And so we've saved, I believe, 3 or 4 individual employees' jobs. And we've had a couple of employees reach out to us that had family members and it might be as simple as, I have a family member, I have a nephew that's, you know, smoking and getting high every weekend, and their parents don't know what to do, and, you know, the navigator will talk to them and give them some information, so. It's really a quick and easy way to help resource somebody into some help that they need.
Josh, did you have something?
Yeah, so would this encompass, this may be, the mayor, this would be school employees as well?
Yes.
Anybody who works for the county?
Correct.
Okay. And is there a cost associated with this? Okay.
No, it's a grant that they came up with, First Tennessee Development District, of course, they're the grant gurus. So, you know, they came up with that to put this program in place. And like I said, it's got a lot of moving parts to it. We don't have to use it all. We don't have to use any of it, but it's there if we need it.
And it's something that we're hoping sustainability-wise, that this program will be built in such a way that it will be scalable, and we can hopefully take it across the state. I guess, you know, it feels weird to brag, but I'm gonna brag a little. This program has garnered some national attention and certainly statewide attention. We have interest from the State Department of Labor Reentry and the Tennessee Department of Mental Health. We've gotten people calling us weekly, asking us how we do it, why we do it, is it scalable? So we're really doing some great things, and we'd love for Hawkins County to be a part of that.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else? Well, thank you. What you're thinking of taking action on this?
Well, you can do whatever you want to with it. I mean, you can have further discussion on it later, or you can say, we endorse the program and we're gonna send it on to the full commission for Hawkins County to join. You know, it's a lot to wrap your arms around, and the commission would have a lot of questions too, but I'm sure when we do that, Christine can come back and answer any of those, but it's totally up to you all what to do. I'm not, you know, we're not in a position where we have to have this. It'd just be a nice thing to fall back.
Well, and I think one of the good things that this is the second time I've heard your presentation, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at the personnel committee, when y'all did it at Health Springs Inn. But anyway, one of the things, I guess, you know, sometimes you have a wonderful employee that gets sick and then gets hooked on prescription drugs. And this program's here to help them with that, and I think that's one of the biggest things that happens sometimes. And they're a good employee, and they've probably been with the company for a long time, and so to be able to give them an opportunity with, like I said, without just dismissing them, without any way to help them. So,
Yes, and there is a statistic, just to give everybody an idea. I hear from employers, I don't have anybody that needs this right now. There's nobody in our, you know, in our company that needs this. People with substance use disorder and addictions, 75% of them are in the workforce right now. So there's people that struggle that maybe do it silently that people aren't aware of.
And the training, if I've got this right, the training helps managers identify people that may be in that situation. Is that right?
okay, so what's the issue of the board?
I make a motion, Madam Chairwoman, that we move forward with this recommendation, that we adopt the caring workplace for Hawkins County employees, however it needs to be worded.
We would be to present it to the full commission.
Yeah.
And I'll second
All right, I've got a first and a properly seconded. Do I, all in favor? Please.
Aye.
that.
I'm getting 1, 2, 3. We'll try that again, so everybody away. All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries.